Maria's struggle with English. Imagine standing in front of a room full of people, their eyes all focused on you. Your palms are sweaty, and your mind is racing. You've prepared for this moment for weeks, but now as you try to speak, the words come out jumbled and awkward. You mispronounce words, you can't remember the right phrases, and you can feel your face turning red. The embarrassment is overwhelming. This was exactly what Maria experienced every single day. She had moved to a new country to pursue her career, full of excitement and dreams. But there was one thing holding her back: her ability to speak English fluently and confidently. At work, her colleagues would engage in casual conversations, sharing jokes and stories, but Maria could only smile and nod. She understood bits and pieces, but when it came time to respond, she would freeze. Even simple conversations felt like climbing a mountain. The fear of embarrassment was so strong that Maria often avoided speaking altogether. She started to feel like she didn't belong, and her confidence took a major hit. But deep down, she knew that if she wanted to succeed, if she wanted to pursue her dreams and build meaningful relationships, she had to conquer her fear of speaking English. She had to do something about it. Have you ever felt like Maria? Have you ever been in a situation where the fear of speaking English held you back from saying what you wanted to say? You're not alone, and the good news is, you can overcome this fear and speak English fluently and confidently, just like Maria did. Before we dive into Maria's incredible journey to fluency, I want you to take a moment and subscribe to this channel, Speak Well Academy. If you're serious about mastering English, about becoming fluent in public speaking and never feeling embarrassed again, this channel is packed with tips, tricks, and stories that will help you succeed. So hit that subscribe button, and let's start this journey together. From embarrassment to confidence. Maria's journey wasn't easy, and it didn't happen overnight. When she first moved to the United States, she thought her basic English would be enough to get by. But soon, she realized that understanding English and speaking English are two entirely different things. She could understand most of what her colleagues were saying, but when it came time for her to contribute to the conversation, it felt like her mind went blank. The words were there, but they wouldn't come out right. Maria felt embarrassed. She felt like her coworkers were judging her for every mistake she made. This fear of making mistakes paralyzed her, and she found herself withdrawing more and more from social situations. But she didn't want to live like that. She didn't want to feel like an outsider forever. So one day, Maria made a decision. She was going to master English, no matter how long it took. She wasn't going to let fear control her life. This is where Maria's journey truly began, and today, I'm going to share with you the exact steps she took to overcome her fear of speaking English and how she became fluent and confident in just a few months. Step 1. Set a clear, achievable goal. The first step in Maria's journey was setting a clear goal. She knew that simply saying, "I want to be fluent," wasn't enough. Fluency is such a broad and often overwhelming goal that it can feel impossible to achieve. So Maria sat down and thought about what fluency really meant to her. For her, it wasn't about speaking English perfectly, like a native speaker. It was about being able to hold a conversation at work without freezing up, to contribute to meetings, and to feel confident when she spoke. She set a specific goal: In 6 months, I want to be able to participate in work meetings without feeling embarrassed or nervous. Why is setting a clear goal so important? Because it gives you something concrete to work toward. Vague goals like "I want to be fluent" can feel unattainable. But when you break them down into specific, measurable steps, they become much more manageable. Maria's goal wasn't just to be fluent. It was to speak confidently in a professional setting. This goal gave her purpose and direction. If you're starting your own English learning journey, ask yourself, what does fluency mean to me? Do you want to be able to speak in job interviews confidently? Do you want to travel without feeling lost? Or maybe you just want to have conversations with friends without constantly worrying about making mistakes. Whatever your goal is, make it specific, measurable, and realistic. Pro tip: break your goal down into smaller milestones. Maria set monthly goals to help her stay on track. For example, in the first month, she focused on improving her listening skills. By the second month, she worked on being able to introduce herself and describe her job without hesitating. These smaller goals gave her a sense of accomplishment and kept her motivated. Step 2. Start speaking from day 1. Even if you feel unprepared. One of the biggest mistakes Maria made early on was waiting until she felt ready to speak English. She thought that if she just studied enough grammar and vocabulary, one day, she would magically be fluent. But the truth is, no amount of studying can prepare you for real conversations. You have to start speaking from day 1, even if you feel unprepared. Maria realized this when she joined a language exchange group online. It was a space where people from all over the world practiced speaking English together. At first, Maria was terrified. She was afraid of making mistakes, afraid of being judged, and afraid of sounding stupid. But when she introduced herself for the first time, something amazing happened. Nobody laughed. Everyone in the group was there to learn, and they were all making mistakes too. Maria soon learned that mistakes are a natural part of learning. The more you speak, the faster you'll improve. The key is to start speaking, even if you're not ready. Maria began speaking English every day. Whether it was with her language exchange partner, her colleagues, or even with herself. Every conversation helped her build her confidence, and every mistake was a learning opportunity. For you, this means that step 2 is about speaking as much as possible. Don't wait until you feel ready, because that day may never come. Start small. Introduce yourself to a coworker, ask a question at a store, or join a language exchange group. The more you speak, the more confident you'll become, and the more progress you'll see. Step 3. Practice daily. The power of consistency. When Maria first started learning English, she thought that practicing for hours every day was the only way to improve. But with a full-time job and other responsibilities, that wasn't realistic. She quickly learned that it wasn't about how much time she spent practicing. It was about how often she practiced. Maria made a commitment to practice English for at least 20 minutes every day, no matter how busy she was. Some days, she would listen to an English podcast during her commute. Other days, she would read a news article or watch a TV show in English with subtitles. The key was consistency. By practicing a little bit every day, Maria started to see real improvements in her comprehension and speaking abilities. Why is daily practice so important? Because language learning is like exercising a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But if you only practice once in a while, you won't see much progress. Maria's small, consistent efforts added up over time, and after just a few months, she noticed a huge improvement in her fluency. For you, step 3 is about building a daily practice routine. Even if you only have 10 or 15 minutes, use that time to engage with English. You could listen to a podcast, watch a YouTube video, or read a short article. The key is to make English a part of your daily life, even in small doses. Over time, these small efforts will lead to big results. Pro tip: vary your practice activities. Some days, focus on listening. Other days, focus on reading or speaking. This will keep your practice sessions interesting and help you improve all aspects of your English. Step 4. Surround yourself with English. Create an immersive environment. One of the most effective strategies Maria used was immersing herself in English, even though she wasn't living in an English-speaking country at first. She created an English-speaking environment wherever she went. She changed her phone settings to English, started watching movies and TV shows in English, and even switched her social media feeds to English-speaking accounts. This constant exposure to the language helped Maria get used to hearing English in different contexts. She learned new vocabulary and expressions just by watching her favorite shows or scrolling through Instagram. It was like having a mini immersion experience without needing to travel. Why is immersion so important? Because it helps your brain process the language naturally. When you surround yourself with English, you start to pick up on the flow of conversations, common slang and pronunciation. You get used to hearing the language, which makes speaking it feel more natural. For you, this could mean switching your phone settings to English, watching your favorite shows in English with subtitles, or following English-speaking influencers on social media. The more you expose yourself to the language, the more familiar it will become, and the easier it will be to speak confidently. Step 5. Focus on listening comprehension. Master fast speech. Listening comprehension was one of Maria's biggest challenges. Her colleagues spoke quickly, often using slang and technical jargon, and she struggled to keep up. At first, Maria felt like she was drowning in conversations, only catching a few words here and there. But instead of getting discouraged, she decided to focus on improving her listening skills. Maria started listening to English podcasts and radio shows every day. She would slow down the playback speed and listen to certain sections multiple times until she could understand what was being said. She also watched English movies with subtitles and practiced repeating what the characters said to improve her pronunciation. If you're struggling with fast speech, don't worry. It's completely normal. The key is to practice listening to native speakers as much as possible. Use tools like YouTube's playback speed feature or apps like Audible to slow down audio and repeat sections you don't understand. Over time, your brain will get used to the speed and flow of English conversations, and you'll start catching more words and phrases. Step 6. Build speaking confidence. Embrace mistakes. Even though Maria's listening skills were improving, she still hesitated when it came to speaking. She was terrified of making mistakes and being judged. Every time she opened her mouth to speak English, she felt like people were analyzing her every word. But one day, Maria decided to stop letting fear hold her back. She joined a public speaking club, where she practiced giving speeches in English in front of a supportive group of people. At first, she made plenty of mistakes. She mispronounced words, forgot her lines, and got flustered. But something amazing happened. Nobody judged her. Everyone in the group was supportive, and they were all making mistakes too. Maria realized that making mistakes is a natural part of learning. In fact, every mistake she made helped her improve. The more she practiced speaking, the more confident she became. And over time, her fear of being judged disappeared. For you, step 6 is about embracing mistakes. Don't be afraid to speak English, even if you're not perfect. The only way to get better is to practice, and the only way to practice is by making mistakes. Each mistake is an opportunity to learn and grow. Find opportunities to speak English, whether it's with friends, colleagues, or language exchange partners. The more you speak, the more confident you'll become. Step 7. Track your progress and celebrate milestones. One of the things that kept Maria motivated on her journey was tracking her progress. She would record herself speaking English every month, talking about different topics like her day, her job, or her favorite hobby. At first, listening to these recordings was painful. She could hear every mistake and every awkward pause. But after a few months, something amazing happened. Maria started to notice real progress. Her sentences flowed more smoothly, her pronunciation improved, and she felt more confident speaking. Tracking your progress is a powerful way to stay motivated. Whether it's recording yourself speaking, keeping a journal of new words you've learned, or noting how much time you've spent practicing, it helps to have a tangible record of your journey. Celebrate each milestone, no matter how small. It will remind you of how far you've come and keep you focused on where you're going. Your journey to fluency starts today. Maria's journey to fluency wasn't easy, but it was worth every step. She went from feeling embarrassed and nervous every time she spoke English to becoming confident and fluent in both her professional and personal life. And if Maria can do it, so can you. Your journey to English fluency doesn't have to be overwhelming. Take it one step at a time. Set a clear goal. Start speaking from day 1, practice daily, surround yourself with English, improve your listening skills, embrace mistakes, and track your progress. With dedication and consistency, you can overcome the fear of speaking English in public and achieve fluency. If you're ready to take the first step toward fluency, subscribe to Speak Well Academy for more inspiring stories, practical tips, and proven techniques to help you on your journey. Leave a comment below and share your English learning goals. Let's achieve them together.